Smith leaned back in the dealership chair, arms crossed, staring at the final number. $30,000, down to $29,950. $50 above invoice. He smiled. Not a nervous smile. A victorious one. An hour of negotiation. Printouts. Market comparisons. Silence tactics. He walked in prepared, and he walked out thinking he had just beaten a billion-dollar system at its own game. But here's the part no one tells you. Smith didn't win. He just lost, in a way that doesn't show up on the receipt. There are 14 hidden profit mechanisms built into every car transaction. Most people don't know about any of them. Hey, I'm Brian, and I spend way too much time thinking about how money quietly moves against you in everyday decisions. If you care about getting the highest return on your attention, think of this channel as peer review for your financial life. Subscribe if that sounds useful. 2 houses down, in the same week, Johnson walked into that exact same dealership. Same car, same trim, same color. But Johnson didn't come with spreadsheets. He came with confidence. I'm paying cash, he said, almost immediately. No financing, no monthly payments, no interest. Clean, simple, smart. Or at least, that's what it felt like. See, both Smith and Johnson believed they were making the financially superior move. One optimized for price, the other optimized for certainty. And both of them walked out convinced they had outplayed the system. They hadn't, because what neither of them understood is where the real game is actually played, and why the number you negotiate is rarely the number that matters. Let's start with Smith, because on the surface, Smith did everything right. He didn't walk in blind. He researched the manufacturer's suggested retail price, $32,250. Then he dug deeper and found the invoice price, $29,900. That number mattered to him, because in his mind, the invoice price represented the dealership's true cost. Anything above that was profit. So his strategy was simple. Anchor the negotiation around invoice. Apply pressure. Be willing to walk away. And step by step, that's exactly what he did. The salesperson started at sticker. Smith countered with invoice. Back and forth. Small concessions. Controlled pauses. Eventually, the dealer gave in. Final price, $50 above invoice. From Smith's perspective, the math was clear. He saved over $2,300 off the sticker price. Minimal dealer profit. Maximum efficiency. It felt airtight, logical, even disciplined. And that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Because Smith made one critical assumption, that the invoice price was the real number. It isn't. Not even close. And here's the part that shocks most people. The number you see is just the surface layer. Underneath it are multiple hidden profit streams that completely change the economics of the deal. Layers that don't show up on your screen. Layers that don't get mentioned in negotiation. Layers that make a $50 profit deal wildly profitable. If you're new here and just subscribed, comment your name below. I read every comment and shout out new subscribers in my next video. I do appreciate you joining me on this finance journey. The first layer is something called the dealer holdback. This is a percentage of the car's price, typically between 1.5% and 3% of the manufacturer's suggested retail price, that the manufacturer quietly pays back to the dealer after the car is sold. On a $32,000 vehicle, that's roughly $480 to $960. Money the dealer receives that never appears on the invoice. Smith never saw it, but it was there. The second layer is dealer cash incentives. These are temporary payments manufacturers offer to dealerships to move specific models. They don't advertise them to consumers. They don't show up on pricing websites. But internally, dealerships can receive anywhere from $500 to $2,100 per vehicle in these incentives, depending on inventory pressure. Again, invisible to Smith. The third layer is where it starts to get more interesting. Volume-based bonuses. Manufacturers reward dealerships for hitting monthly or quarterly sales targets. Miss the target by 1 unit, and the bonus disappears. Hit it, and suddenly every car sold that month becomes more profitable. These bonuses can range from $200 to $700 per vehicle, sometimes more. Which means, in certain situations, The dealership is actually incentivized to sell a car at what looks like a loss because the bonus more than compensates for it. So that $50 margin Smith negotiated, it could easily be a $1,000 gain once volume bonuses are factored in. But that's still not the full picture. The fourth layer is regional marketing support and rebates. Manufacturers allocate funds to dealerships based on geography to stay competitive in specific markets. These can quietly reduce the dealership's effective cost by another $300 to $1,200 per vehicle. Again, not visible, not discussed, just embedded. And then there's the fifth layer, the one almost no buyer accounts for: floor plan assistance. Dealerships don't typically own their inventory outright. They finance it, and manufacturers often subsidize the interest on that inventory, partially or fully, for a certain period. That means the cost of holding the car is lower than it appears, which gives the dealership more flexibility in pricing than any public number would suggest. Stack all of these together: holdback, incentives, bonuses, rebates, financing support, and suddenly, the dealership's true cost on that $29,900 invoice vehicle isn't $29,900. It might be $27,200, maybe even lower, which means Smith didn't negotiate a $50 profit deal. He walked into a system where the profit was already engineered, layered, distributed, and hidden, and he never saw any of it. But here's the thing. Even all of this isn't where the real money is made. Because everything we just covered, that's just the front of the building. The visible transaction, the part you think matters, the real profit center, is somewhere else entirely. Because everything we just covered, that's just the front of the building. The real transaction happens after you think you're done. They call it the finance office. But internally, it's something else entirely. It's the highest margin room in the entire dealership. And you don't walk into it guarded. You walk into it relieved. Deal negotiated. Price locked. Mental defenses down. That's not an accident. That's timing. And here's where the numbers change. The first mechanism is loan interest markup. When a dealership arranges financing, the bank approves you at a certain interest rate. Let's say 5.2%. The dealership is allowed, within limits, to mark that up to something like 6.9%. That difference, it doesn't go to the bank. It goes to the dealership. On an average loan, that spread alone can generate between $800 and $1,600. And most buyers never even realize it happened. The second mechanism is extended warranties, positioned as protection, peace of mind, but priced with margins that range from $1,200 to $2,800 above cost. And because you're already spending tens of thousands, it feels small. It's not. The third is gap insurance. Coverage for the difference between what you owe and what the car is worth. Valuable in some cases, but often sold at 200% to 300% markup, costing the buyer $600 to $1,400 for something the dealership acquired for far less. Then come the protection packages: paint protection, fabric protection, wool coverage, key replacement, bundled, framed as smart add-ons, but carrying margins of 60% to 80%. Another $500 to $1,500 layered in quietly. And finally, the simplest one: documentation fees, positioned as non-negotiable. Standard, but ranging from $200 to $800 depending on the state or region. Pure profit in many cases. Add all of it together: interest markup, warranty margin, insurance spread, add-ons, fees, and the finance office generates, on average, between $2,700 and $2,900 per car, per transaction. And here's the part that changes everything. None of this depends on the price you negotiated on the floor. You can win the front-end deal and still lose the transaction, because the real game is played in the room you don't prepare for. Now go back to Johnson. Confident, decisive. I'm paying cash. He said it early, almost immediately. And in that moment, the entire structure of the deal changed. Because Johnson didn't just remove interest. He removed the dealership's most profitable opportunity. No loan markup, no back-end participation from lenders, limited leverage in the finance office. From the dealership's perspective, the deal got smaller. So they adjusted. Not by arguing, not by pushing, just by holding the line. Less flexibility on price, fewer concessions, no urgency to close at a lower number. And Johnson, believing he was simplifying the process, accepted a higher price. Same car, same week, same dealership, but Johnson paid roughly $2,400 more than Smith. Not because he made a reckless decision, but because he made the obvious one, the safe one, the debt-free one. And that's the irony. Avoiding the system is exactly what made the system less flexible. So here's how you flip it. Step 1. You walk in as a financing buyer. Not because you want the loan, but because you understand where the profit lives. You let the dealership believe the finance office is still in play. Step 2. You negotiate the purchase price first, completely separate from how you plan to pay. You anchor to market data, but you negotiate knowing the hidden layers exist. You're not fighting for $50 above invoice. You're targeting the real margin beneath it. Step 3. You delay any detailed financing conversation. If they ask about payment method, you keep it neutral. Still exploring options. That's it. No declarations. Step 4. Once the price is locked, then you move to the finance office. Now you're in the highest margin room, but this time, you're aware. You review the interest rate carefully. You ask for the buy rate, the rate the bank actually approved. If there's a markup, you push it down. Even a 1% reduction can save hundreds. Step 5. You treat every add-on as a separate negotiation. Extended warranty? Ask for cost breakdown. Gap insurance? Compare with your insurer. Protection packages? Challenge the value entirely. You don't accept bundles. You isolate decisions. Step 6. And this is the counterintuitive move. You take the financing if the deal improves. Because sometimes, agreeing to finance unlocks a lower purchase price. But, and this is critical, you only do this under one condition. No prepayment penalty. No front-loaded interest structures. No hidden origination fees. You confirm it in writing, and then you pay off the loan early, weeks later, or months, before the interest meaningfully accumulates. You let the system think it's winning, and then you close the loop. That's how you extract the advantage. Smith and Johnson didn't fail because they were careless. They failed because they were playing on the surface. One optimized for price, the other optimized for certainty. But neither of them understood the full system. And that's the shift. This isn't about paying cash versus financing. It's about understanding where the money actually moves and positioning yourself accordingly. Because once you see every layer, the visible and the hidden, the negotiation changes completely. Now you know every mechanism, every number, and the exact strategy to use them. If you want more breakdowns like this, where we take everyday financial decisions and run them through real analysis, subscribe. Think of it as peer review for your money.